Let me check you out at rumble.com and shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. Guys, I think we got those audio issues resolved on our streaming services. All right, so let's dive right back into our wonderful discussion here. Very objectively, of course, because we're just now seeing the first major, big major domino to fall after this Supreme Court ruling in a case that involved us, Louisiana versus Calais, and that's where our congressional districts went from 4-2 Republican Democrat to 5-1 Republican Democrat. All right, we got that. So first one, that's Cleo Fields. Congressman Cleo Fields has elected to not run for re-election or for election of the 6th Congressional District. It's now dramatically different. And we're going to dive right into that. So I don't think this is going to be the last domino. But the attention now turns to qualifying, because that is such a different qualifying process than we originally thought. So we had two major changes. First, we had the primaries. That was supposed to happen. And then we had primaries under a new district. Now that district changed. So then we have this new kind of speed dating. It's like a speed dating qualifying match. So folks with name ID probably benefit, I would imagine. I'd imagine so. So over the next few days, we're going to see, and find out who exactly is out there and who's about to jump into what is now a very different congressional race, very different congressional map than what we first envisioned. Qualifying for Congress, if anybody wants to do it, 2 days from now, August 5th. So let's see. Well, no matter what happens, I will say this. One thing is probably for certain. I don't think the political chessboard is staying the same. I think that we saw that a year ago. We may have even, hindsight's 2020. But I guess maybe you could have seen it 3 years ago. Maybe you could have said, well, maybe some favors were in this politics. I don't like it. You don't like it. Maybe the folks that are doing it don't like it. I don't know. But there was something. Someone had to make those decisions, and there had to be some motivating factor. Well, we're not there anymore. There's other motivating factors. And here we are. We have a new map, and we're going to have some different congressmen. We're going to have a different one in the 5th. We're going to have a different one in the 6th. And we'll see. So, all right. I'm curious to see on this topic the fundraising. So I pulled up a few kind of high level, just kind of, 30,000 foot view, because just because Cleo Field is out, this race isn't going anywhere. It's wide open, and there are some folks that will stand out. Fundraising matters, though. It doesn't guarantee victory. Look, I've been on a campaign where I've had significantly less money in one. I've had a campaign where I've had I don't know about, no. Reportedly, I had more money. But regardless, money doesn't guarantee victory, and that's the key. But it usually tells you who's building at least a serious campaign. It can help you get a message out more consistently. Some things, as somebody wisely told me, sometimes it's just too big. Sometimes you can raise all the money you want, and something or some things have happened where it's just too much. So none of that applies here. Unless I say that with the candidates that have what appears to be announced, that doesn't appear to be the case. So let's dive in. Now, this is according to FEC reports. This doesn't include any dark money where you don't know who the heck is donating where. I don't think I know the leading guy. I don't think he's doing anything like that. If he does, he's following the rules. It's unfortunate we even have to talk about that. But let's see here. So Rick Edmonds, he is a Republican, and he's leading in the fundraising efforts. I don't have any correlation of polling, but Edmonds has raised just over $530,000. He has spent just under $200,000. I don't know what time period. I don't know what time period that is. If it's recently, that's a big spin in a little bit of time, but that's what you need to do. That's what you need to. You need to front end that to get all your infrastructure, all that stuff that you need. I'm sure, and I know Rick. I know Rick well enough to know that he's a thinker. So he and his wife probably have had these discussions on what's the path, and he's been at it for a while. He's run for Secretary of State. Saw him out there. I'm just trying to see what experience he has outside of his legislative district. That's the first thing that I can think of. Seems to be a pretty dedicated campaigner. Seems to be very true. I don't know his voting record, guys. You call in next segment. Y'all can help me out. I don't have Q Money Magic over here in front of me, or Lane or Parker, to help improve the quality of this broadcast. I have to rely on my dear audience, as usual, whom I respect and love. All right. He has roughly, Rick Edmonds, $323,000 cash on hand. Remember, qualifying is in 2 days. 2 days, and I think it's through the 7th, 5th through the 7th. It's usually 3 days. So there you go. It's not too late. Not too late. Who's going to throw their hat in there? Who wants to we'd be like California. Remember when they had about 70 people running for governor? Do they still do that? I don't know if they still do that. Now, one important note on Rick Edmonds, the total, the $530 does include a loan from Edmonds himself, $155,000. But even taking that into account, I mean, he still reported more than $375,000 in actual contributions. So no small order, nothing to laugh at all. And if the window is what I think it is, that's a pretty impressive amount. Again, you're in the legislature, you've campaigned before, you've campaigned outside your district, which would encompass parts of this congressional district, I'm sure. But that's nothing to laugh at. Now let's compare that to the rest of the Republican field. Now this poor lady, I'm going to butcher her name. I'm so sorry. Monique Appening, and I'm sorry, Monique A, because she's doing a great job. She's raised $104,000. That's including a $50,000 loan from herself, or a candidate loan. That's that's dedication. You're willing to put up $50,000. It's a loan. Hopefully you get that back, but you're at least saying, if it doesn't come here, I'm at least putting up. I'm not asking folks to do something that I'm not willing to do. So that's good. That's good. Appeaning. And if that's like some name I'm supposed to know, my bad. And if my notes are totally butchered, that's on me. Larry Davis has raised $22,000. Christian Rashad Johnson has not reported any fundraising, but I'm throwing that out there because Christian's out there campaigning. I saw that. And then there's, my notes say, Peter Williams. I don't know much about Mr. Williams, but he's listed with the FEC. No current fundraising is available. And again, remember, Congressman Fields is not running for Congress anymore. He's running for state senate back where he is very comfortable. But before stepping aside, though, his campaign had reported roughly $450,000 in receipts, so revenue, and or donations, and about $238,000 in spending through March of 2026. So you got a lot to break down there, but bottom line at this point, it looks like Rick Edmonds has raised, at least from what's reported, roughly 5 times as much as Monique Appeaning. I swear. I know Joe's listening. He hasn't come in here yet. That's good. Phone lines haven't totally gone off. I'm not even looking at that app chat. That poor lady, I'm butchering her. I know I am. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not. Feel free to correct me. It does not hurt my feelings. But more than 5 times as much as that nice lady who's second in fundraising. No small order, over $100,000 in a short period of time. That's definitely not anything to laugh at. More than 24 times as much as Mr. Davis. But again, money does not vote. I know. A lot of folks are like, oh, yeah, money can help bring a message. Money can help deceive. Don't think I left the reservation, okay, of sanity. I know. I get it. Money can sway a lot of things. Money can help push bad things. But money can do good too. And money can get your message out. You choose the message you give out. If you want to choose to do lies, you want to do deception, eventually it always comes out. Eventually, it always comes out. But maybe that's part of the play. They know that, yeah, it'll come out, but that's why lawfare is so bad. It's way down the line. And the headlines when it's cleared is nothing compared to with the headlines when it started. And by the time they're banking on people forgetting, heck, the media forgets about it. It's a whole story. And they may report it. I'm sure they would. Even Trump, they had to report on some things with Jack Smith, which is very interesting, officer of the court. If you're supposed to be so independent, and you were so independently confident, why did you independently drop it when Trump got elected? Could it be independently political? It's just asking for our friend, asking for POTUS. All right, guys. Man, look, when we get back, we're going to cover, we'll wrap a bow on this. We'll move on to a different topic, but those phone lines are wide open, and I can't wait to hear from you. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, go visit my friends over there at Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic, and you too can start feeling better from the inside out, man. Start actually treating those symptoms. Don't just put a Band-Aid on it, and see where Dr. Kevin can help you. I was visiting with Chris from his clinic earlier, from his office, and she was telling me some pretty good stuff over the phone, just willy-nilly like that. So go visit them, 983-CARE, 983-CARE, and let Dr. Kevin and his wonderful staff help you. Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic right here in Lafayette, Louisiana, 983-CARE. All right, guys, let me see you over there at the Rumble chat. And let's see here. We're going to go straight to the phone lines. Let's see here. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hey, what's up, Renee?
Straight to the phone lines. Let's see here.
Renee, turn your radio down.
Hey, what's up, Renee? Yeah, it's me.
Turn your radio down, Bob. Go ahead.
Let me turn off the radio. Let me turn down the radio. You still there?
Yes, and so is the rest of the world.
I had a wonderful card from Congressman Higgins. Good news, you know. He's a real wonderful guy. He'll vote for H.R. 1, Drive America First policy, securing the border, H.R. 9199, H.R. 4, reducing federal spending, and, of course, Save America Act. Now, there's a story in history about Alexander the Great and the Gordian knot. You know, the Gordian knot had social norms and maybe physical properties where it couldn't be solved, and this man just cheated and cut the thing wide open. I want to bring that to your attention because the left, no matter how many Gordian knots the right puts out there, the left's just not going to, they never obeyed the law anyway. They don't care how many messy people and criminals they have in their own ranks. That's, you know, how can we solve that? General Eisenhower had the solution. It's called the Communist Control Act, to control the communists before they control us. MacArthur never went against it because he most probably agreed in the Communist Control Act. No matter if some judge ordered it down with a test, Trump and everybody need to control them communists, them radical Muslim communist infidels before they control us, because no matter what kind of Gordian knot we put out there, they're going to cut it up and treat it like toilet paper.
Well, hey, look, Renee, I appreciate you. I'm telling you, there's a lot of folks out there definitely shaking their head with you. All right, let's go to this gentleman. He knows I was probably talking about him earlier. What's up, Sean?
No, I didn't think it was me. I thought it was going to be like Justin or somebody like that, dude. But
that was a compliment.
I don't have any proof, but I'm pretty sure that Jeff Landry has more than one penis. And you want to know how I know that? Because it is physically impossible to screw so many people with one penis in the short amount of time as he has been in office. Basically, he screwed us by putting Cleo Field in a race that he was going to win hands down, basically handing it to him. Then he wrapped around and screwed Cleo again. So, look, I'm a student of the game, man. I'm liking it. He's suing Fauci. Well, he's jumping on DeSantis' boat to sue Fauci. I don't like Jeff, but you know what? He gets some wins every now and then.
Oh, that's a big win. That's a good one. Hey Sean,
the whole thing,
go ahead.
The whole thing. Okay, so you want to know why Cleo's not going to run? Well, no, it's not a sure deal to win. You make money when you're running for office. You're getting donors to give you money. You don't win money when you win office. You get it along the way. So no, he's not gonna put up money to lose. So and then I got one for Mr. Slowboat that calls in. Why is Jamie Davis wearing a Farm Bureau hat?
You know, I wondered that. And
is that a sponsorship? We have the worst insurance in the country. I think he's like NASCAR. He's got it on his suit and he's got it on the side of his car. That's who's paying for all that. So you know what? I could be wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong.
Farm Bureau, y'all call in. No, Sean, that's a good point. I wondered that too. And I have no doubt he's probably part of some association or whatnot, whatever you call it. And I have some really good contacts in Farm Bureau. I love those guys, and I love farmers and all the things. But yeah, that caught my attention too, Sean. It was something. Was it an endorsement? Does he have approval? I mean, he's running for Senate. You would imagine, but don't assume, because Jeb Bush left his domain wide open and Trump took Jeb Bush for president.com in 2016. Do you remember that?
I keep saying every day to myself, don't call in, don't call in, don't call in. But I got to. I got to do it.
Hey, Sean, we're all better for it, brother. Thank you so much. Love it. Love it. Hey, look, here's the deal. I've disagreed with some things with my dear friend, Governor Landry, but he is my friend. And I could see a lot more positive than negative. It's just some of those negatives at the time. Everybody has a right to feel that way. Y'all know how I feel or felt. But I'm going to talk about some things that's actually pretty good in Louisiana. And the governor had a lot to do with this. And I think it should be noted. And it's a lot of common sense in regards to immigration. I think the Secretary of State has worked on this as well. But we'll highlight something good. But I have to end this segment on something even better. And that's my boy over here, Big Chris. What's up, Big Chris?
Well, I want to end it on a high note myself.
Yeah.
Listen, so I voted for Landry. I like him. I'm not a sycophant for him, but he did get us Meta, and if I'm not mistaken, they might be getting SpaceX down by Pecan Island. Am I correct on that?
That's my understanding.
So if they have SpaceX there, are they going to actually launch rockets from there?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Don't let me tell you the wrong thing. I don't know, but I do share in your optimism, though. And
because I tell you what, you know how Cajuns are. They start launching rockets. We're going to have festivals.
We're going to put some rocket in our gumbo. Festival. You better watch it.
Oh, look, we can be watching from our yards. SpaceX.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't even sing no more.
Get the camcorder out.
Oh yeah, SpaceX Festival. We're gonna have one every time they launch.
That's right.
They can have people with gumbos and.
It's gonna be. Hey man, we're from South Louisiana. We're from Louisiana. We'll make a festival out of it. What are you talking about?
Hey, look, they're gonna see it around the world. Like, what the heck is going on?
We have a cook-off.
They look like they're having fun.
We're gonna have a cakewalk. We're going to have T-shirts.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Big Chris, thanks for taking us into the break. Appreciate you, brother. Talk to you soon. Guys, stick around. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, let me tell you about my friends over there at Giles Subaru. Look, guys, you're looking for a real-life adventure? Well, get a vehicle to match it. Visit Giles Subaru in Lafayette with legendary Subaru safety, capability, and reliability. You'll be ready for the daily commute. You'll be ready for the family road trip, and you'll be ready for everything in between from Giles Subaru, a vehicle from Giles Subaru. Their friendly team will help you find the right Subaru without the pressure or hassle. Drive with confidence. Drive something built to last. Visit Giles Subaru in Lafayette today and see why love is now bigger than ever. Go tell Bob Giles you love him. He loves you. All righty, we got so much to talk about. I love those callers. Thank you guys so much. And we're going to go right back to the phone lines. Let's see here. Caller, you're live on the Josh Guillory Show. Justin, what's up, Justin?
Oh, not much. So I was just thinking about something.
Yes, sir.
So they've been reporting on all these NDAs that Jeff Landry is having people sign. What if Cleo Fields signed an NDA to be in Congress just for 2, and Landry waited to challenge the maps, and Jeff Landry got a payout for it?
Ooh, man. You know, the payout part, well, that's obviously, I mean, it's speculation, but, you know, it's a question that I would ask for any elected official. Go look at all the projects and follow every single dollar. That's what we're supposed to do. It's hard to do. That's why you see some of the fraud. But Justin, to your point though, and I've heard a lot, and maybe I should have talked about it. I'm so glad you called in. All right, what's your thoughts on NDAs from government officials? I'm trying to think if I ever signed one. I don't recall.
You shouldn't have that.
Yeah.
Because if you are working for the American people, and you're working for Louisianians, and you're working for Lafayette Parish, whatever level of government you're in, you are working for the people. You are not supposed to be hiding whatever deal you're making behind the scenes.
See that, and see from the public.
I should be able to know every period, every T, every I that's in whatever contract you're doing on my behalf.
That's extremely fair. And, you know, Justin, from the lens of the public, I'm 100% with you. You know, the argument against it, just to hear it, you know, I'm not saying I buy it, okay? But the argument against it is you have people from the private sector that want to come and invest into Louisiana, for example. And it's competitive, and they're willing to invest in areas, I'll use the bureaucrat terms, disinvested. They're investing in disinvested areas. So without that capital being infused, the development wouldn't be there. So what the private sector usually, because remember, they're looking at their shareholders or their own personal equity or their own personal interests. But in exchange for them investing, you know, it's a balance. I'm with you. If you're telling me, hey, Guillory, you had to pick between one or the other, I'm with you, of course. That's the only, and the reason why I'm telling you that's the only reason, because I always like to find out, like, well, why would they do that? Why is that a thing? You know, and it's always coming from these economic development folks, and not calling anybody bad, but LEDA here locally and LED at the state level. Hey, look, those guys have done good things, but that's the only explanation that has come close to making sense. What do you think?
I don't buy it. You know, Jeff Landry has lost all trust with me. I don't buy anything that comes out of his mouth.
Well, he's got a year to...
And I'm just being honest.
No, I got you. And look, you know, he's got a year to prove his case to most of the folks, or to a majority of the folks, and we'll see. He's and we're gonna look, and thanks, Justin. I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna talk about something. We'll start this conversation that I think's good. That's happening in Louisiana, and the governor's part of that for sure. And what came to mind when I read this about this database stuff and voters and all this, you know, for one point, or for one time, at least momentarily, we can at least say there is a difference between Washington and Louisiana. You know, Washington has spent a long time arguing about election integrity. Different camps argue different things. It's whatever the political narrative of the day is, okay? But Louisiana, our legislature had passed a law back in session. Our governor has signed it into law. And, you know, how many times have we heard in Washington folks say we got to protect election integrity, and then nothing happened? But in Louisiana, we have Act 6. It just went into effect 2 days ago. All right, so August 1st, Act 6 now into law. And here's what it does. Every year, Louisiana Secretary of State, Nancy Landry in our case right now, their office will compare our voter rolls against the federal SAVE database, okay? The federal system, you know, the SAVE database, the federal system's used to verify like basic things like citizenship, citizenship status, you know, the basics. But it's there when the state has access to that system and the funding required under the law exists. So when we get back, we're going to talk about that. You know, what if there is a possible match? What happens when that happens? Is there an automatic trigger? Is there something the state can do? Without this law, maybe there were some things that couldn't happen. So I appreciate this. And when we get back, guys, we'll cover this and so much more. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And we are broadcasting live on rumble.com. I want to see you over there at rumble.com. Man, y'all go check out my friends over there at Préjean's. Préjean's, you got two great locations. You got the classic location between Karen Crow and Lafayette outside, I-49. And you have the new location, although it's been there for a little bit now, in Broussard, right by Morgan, right off the highway. Can't miss it. It's really great. Don't do what Quentin does and gas it right before the train tracks and try to jump like Dukes of Hazzard. I was just talking to Q. That's why I'm saying that. Q Money Magic Man. Where you at, Q? All right, guys, let's keep on keeping on. This one, look, let's keep on some positive, shall we? In this great state, we have plenty to be thankful for. When we went into when we ended hour number one, we were talking about Act 6. That's what our legislature, one of the many laws that it's passed, signed by Governor Landry, and I think it does a lot of good things. We see Washington talking in campaign season about election integrity, all the things, all the talking points, making sure Americans vote in American elections, all the things. So Act 6, again, every year, our Secretary of State will compare our voter rolls against the federal database. All right, and that's the one where you verify all the stuff, the citizenship, things like that. And they do that when the state has access to that system and the funding, like I said earlier, is actually there. And it's there, okay? So if there's a possible match, here's one note to this, though. It doesn't automatically throw anybody off the voter rolls. We need to highlight that. But it does start starts a process, some form of due diligence, shall we say, investigation. So if investigators believe someone may not be eligible, well, then this further in the process. The information then goes to prosecutors. See how that's a process? The folks that look into it do things first, then they give it to a prosecutor. Sometimes in these lawfare cases, all the time, you see the prosecutor bringing it to the law enforcement agency first. That's one thing to note. But in this situation, it's done proper. Investigators investigate. If they believe there's something may be there, okay, then they send it to the prosecutors. If citizenship issues are verified, great. The parish registrar can challenge the voter, if there's any issues, by the way. If the parish registrar feels that way, they can challenge it. They can challenge the voter registration. They can use Louisiana's existing legal process to do that. And every year, the Secretary of State has to publicly report how many records were checked, how many records were challenged, how many records were canceled. So that's what the law actually says. Now watch this, okay? A few months ago, Louisiana used the federal SAVE system for the first time. According to our Secretary of State, Nancy Landry, the state identified 403 registered non-citizens. That might think 403, big deal. Total registered voters, 2.96 million. Well, what's the big deal, Guillory? 403 out of 2.96 million. Well, go ask my dear friend who lost an election by less than 50 votes. Go ask some other folks that lost by 20-something votes. Go ask a lot of people where 403 registered non-citizens could make a difference. How about one? Hey, we asked this before. To my friends that don't care about voter ID or anything like that, unless it benefits you, how much fraudulent voting is acceptable? You know, kind of like the EPA does allow, it's not zero pollutants in the Mississippi, for example. It's how much pollutants go into the Mississippi. So how much voter fraud is okay to the United States senators? Apparently it's bipartisan. It's leadership in the House, slim margin, and you get it passed, Save America Act. Then you go to the Senate where I think we have the majority. I see all these I see all these R's by their names, and I'm confused. I don't know. But that's the numbers here in Louisiana. Now, according to the state, 83 of those individuals, of the 403 registered non-citizens, 83 of those voters had voted in at least one election in the last few decades. Again, doesn't seem that bad. It really doesn't. But it's just one. That's all it takes. You know, you can hear that number and say, well, those are tiny percentages. This is 2026. I mean, others hear that. 403, 83. You know, some folks hear that and say every unlawful vote cancels out the vote of a lawful voter. Who can argue with that reasonably? Who can reasonably argue with that? I only want to hear people that want to argue. I'm kidding. But that's the debate. Like, that's the debate. And it's an honest one, I guess. I mean, zoom out, okay? Louisiana's putting this verification process into state law. That's a good thing. Now, let's do, you know how we do a comparative analysis sometimes? We have a great case study here in Lafayette, Louisiana, for example. Let's do one, Louisiana, and let's pick some friends in New Jersey. Governor Sherrill, Mikey, it's a New Jersey governor, acknowledged that 6,600 non-citizens were mistakenly added to the state's voter rolls because of what the state described as a software error. Oh, it wasn't us. That wasn't us. That was them. That was software error. The governor of New Jersey said roughly 400 of those improperly registered individuals voted. Okay, kind of similar numbers. Now, House Republicans are investigating what happened, asking when state officials knew about the problem, how it happened, and was federal election law, was it even followed? Was it followed at all? I'm glad that Congress is looking at this. Congress right here, the House at least, really is diving in to a lot of this stuff that's bothered a lot of Americans. I guess it depends on who's in charge, how you feel about it. But at some point, we've all felt the government is not acting fairly. At some point. But the House Republicans are really, they're looking into a lot of things. A lot of this lawfare stuff, they're looking into it. And I'm glad, because, man, we got to get ahead of this. And this voter stuff, this is no different. It's the same mentality, you know. I'm in charge. I get to control who votes so I can stay in power to abuse my power to use lawfare. It's all tied in. It's all tied in. So New Jersey is now explaining what happened after what they say is an error. So we'll talk about that error and maybe compare it to how Act 6, you know, not a last-minute type deal. Let's see how that compares. So when we get back, we'll cover that, and we'll open up some phone lines here eventually. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We are also broadcasting live on rumble.com. Let me see over there at rumble.com. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. Man, shout out to our friends over there at Stan's Auto, man, for all your automobile needs. Go visit my friends at Stan's Auto. Man, a confident smile can change everything, as we know. At St. Marie Orthodontics, their experienced and care team provides personalized orthodontic treatment for children, teens, and for adults. From traditional braces to modern treatment options, they'll help create a plan that fits your smile and your life over there at St. Marie Orthodontics. Beautiful results, compassionate care, and a team that treats you like family. I know that firsthand. Schedule your consultation with St. Marie Orthodontics and start smiling with confidence. All right, let's go back to this wonderful topic here. Hey, man, I'm glad to say something positive about our state. You know, I'm just saying we're comparing Louisiana to New Jersey right now and how we're kind of dealing with it. We have one that's saying, excuses, basically. I don't even really can understand it. Justin and I were talking earlier about some things that we just didn't understand mutually, and I was at least saying, well, maybe this at least makes sense as to why they think that. I'm not saying I subscribe to it. So I'm trying to see. But these are two different approaches here to the same situation, which are unlawful votes, basically by undocumented immigrants. There you go. That was good. I was using the buzzwords. It's sustainable. It's pretty resilient. Voting in a big tent. All the things. But two different approaches on how we do it. So most Americans, most states like Louisiana say, this is the process. You verify first. Okay? You verify first. New Jersey is now explaining what happened after an error was discovered. Emphasis. After. That's a big difference. So, as we move on, and here's another important point, by the way. If we go back to Louisiana, Act 6, that's not a last-minute voter roll-up sweep before this November's election. I mean, the law itself limits when those annual checks occur. So we do have some checks and balances, and it only applies if Louisiana has free access to the SAVE database. Right now it does. Or if funding is required, the legislature would have to fund it, which I don't think this legislature would mind funding. I think it's a pretty big it is a pretty big value, shall I say, for many of the residents. So many of the voters, shall I say. All right. Now, I got a few takeaways. I'm sure you guys do too, because there's some confusion about what the law actually does. I get it. But here's my takeaway. All right. Whether we're Republican, whether we're Democrat, whether you're independent, whether you're a Green Party, whether you identify as a Martian, or somewhere in between, I think we should all want the same thing. I think we do deep down. We the people want the same thing, which is accurate voter rolls. Legal voters casting legal ballots at the legal time. Transparent procedures. We all want that. We want to all know what the rules are so that we can all uniformly follow them. None of that is extreme. Elections don't just have to be fair. The public has to believe that they are fair. I mean, confidence, look, you may disagree. We could talk about it next segment. I don't think confidence is built. I know it's not. It's not built on Election Day. It can be destroyed on Election Day, but right now, at least, it's not built, and it will not be rebuilt on Election Day. It's what we do before, and it's what we do after. But specifically, that trust that we're aiming for, That trust that is supposedly so important to all these folks in office, which I think it is to their constituents for sure. But it's before. That trust is built before Election Day. You build it by little things, and Louisiana's trying to do it. You clean up the voter rolls. You keep the voter rolls accurate. You enforce the law. I don't know why it's so hard. Why do certain people in executive branches, they may just be confused. They like to talk and then talk about enforcing the law. Enforce, then talk. How's that? Enforce, then talk. And that's what Louisiana is doing right now. So this is a good thing. All the things we have to gripe about, and there's plenty of talk about that, and there's a lot of it's fair. Look, I know a lot of these guys in office. They would probably be joining in with you on some of the absurdness. But this right here, this could be something that we're doing right, and I like that because we've got to build the trust across the country. But you do that, local officials, state officials, by enforcing the law, by making sure every legal vote counts. Only legal votes count. Come on, how come we have to say that all the time? Like a broken record. Over and over and over again. Has anybody tried to actually play a broken record? That's going to be a hot topic next. I'm just kidding. It could be. Call in. Call in. I'd love to hear. What does that mean? If you know, you know. Go try it. You'll see. It's the reason we say it. All right. Let's move on because this is I've been waiting to talk about this. I'm so glad we got to it. And we'll chat about it before we open up the phone lines, okay? So check this out. Apparently, what's going on in New York City, man? Apparently, you do not need an ID to vote, but you do need an ID to buy government groceries. Y'all want to let that sit in? I mean, sometimes a story will write itself. All right, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has spent a lot of time talking about his vision for utopia, for government-run grocery stores. And I'm trying to meet him. We can meet him where he's at. I will be the first to tell you that there's a lot of cities across our country that has these things called food deserts, and that's where people can't, like literally, legitimately, they're in a situation, it's not fake, they just can't, like physically, get to any food other than maybe like convenience stores, stuff like that. So that exists. It's not as prevalent as the left says, and it's probably more prevalent than some folks admit. But it's how do you deal with it? And that's a local issue, man. And look, this is a mayor. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with addressing it. It is very much wrong when you get government dependency and very wrong when you add recurring expenses. You know, these food desert things can be addressed through partnerships with the local community, through some vetted and competitively procured. There's a process for that. I couldn't tell you what that process is. I purposefully stayed out of it. But there is a process. And as long as that's followed and you have, every year checks and balances, hey, maybe the needs of the community at the local level, maybe it does call for like a one-time investment, a one-time capital improvement. Perhaps there's a building that the local city or county or parish is not using. And there's a need to address food shortage, whatever it is. In this case, food. Okay, maybe it makes sense in that particular local government at that particular time in their budgetary process, and it makes sense. Sure, whatever. The next year, you're not bound by it because it was one time. And I would hope that the administrator, whoever's running the day-to-day, would have a maintenance plan to be able to afford all that. I know one lady's ears are burning if she's listening right now because she would not let us build anything without a maintenance plan. and we built a lot. She might have some gray hairs after working with me. I don't know. Poor thing. Pray for her. If you know, you know. So let's see here. We're going to take us just a tiny little break. I don't want anyone to go anywhere. We're going to talk about grocery stores run by the government, and you need an ID. What's wrong with these people? Oh, my goodness. I mean, ID to vote? What? I don't know. Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We are also broadcasting live on Rumble. Rumble.com. Go check out my friends at Rumble.com, specifically on that chat on the Josh Guillory Show. You can meet some really good folks over there. I'm biased, though. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, go visit my friends over there at Giles Subaru in Lafayette with legendary Subaru safety, capability, and reliability. You'll be ready for the daily commute, the family road trip, and everything in between over there at Giles Subaru. Their friendly team will help you find the right Subaru without the pressure or hassle. I was over there today, earlier, really, really nice. Drive with confidence. Drive something built to last for sure. Visit Giles Subaru here in Lafayette today and see why love is now bigger than ever. Go visit Giles Subaru. Feel the love. All righty. By the way, dog park over there. That's really what I was going to check out. No, I had to run in, but it is pretty fascinating to see. I was happy to see. Now, this was earlier in the morning, but I was happy to see some folks out actually using the dog park in this weather. But it was early. It was early. I don't know about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but what was it, 9? It was early. 8 o'clock, to be out and about. So anyway. All right, guys. Man, what the heck do y'all think? What is going on over here from the folks that said we can't not have IDs to check to see who you are to vote, but you got to have it if you want to buy the government food, grocery store. Did anybody see this happening? Could anybody not see the hypocrisy that was about to follow? We said government run. That's all you had to, it follows. It follows. Probably some unaccountability, probably some partners being paid, even if, it's so far entrapped in the web over there in New York City. It's so big. One person, Giuliani did, he probably made the biggest dent in one impact, like on crime and stuff like that. But Giuliani understood broken window theory. But regardless, let's talk about this government-run grocery store, okay? Government-run grocery store. Let me see here. All right, it's some regulars. Sean, what's up with this government-run grocery store that you need an ID to buy groceries? That ain't right, racist.
Well, I don't care about groceries because whatever. I'm going to tell you something. Now, they're going to stop Mondami from speaking at the 9/11 memorial, which is less than a month away, or a little bit more than a month away. So why? He's a mayor of.
Are they really? He's not going to be able to talk at the He's not talking at the 9/11.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I did not know that.
They restricted him. So why would they restrict him? Okay, he's able to be mayor. Then why would they restrict him? Mm-hmm. So my problem is, okay. You're going to say never forget. You put the guy in charge of the whole problem is the guy's point of view is what brought down the towers. This is crazy, man. It's like, so anyway, he's not allowed to speak because he's going to politicize it, basically.
Wow.
And,
How old was he? How old was he in 9/11? Like 10?
No, he wasn't existent. He was in his daddy's.
He was born, but he was probably what? He's 30 something. He would.
I don't know.
Man, got a good smile. That's what
But
Quentin would say.
The whole thing.
Oh, did that? Sean, you still there? Go ahead. Press the wrong button.
Yeah, you got to say, oh, never forget. No, man, you gave the keys to the kingdom to the guy. So, look, what I wanted to tell you is Lane's been out, but we need to give him a homework assignment.
Yes.
Homework. He's got to stay sharp while he's off.
That's right. We're looking out for you, Lane.
He needs to look into the Texas, what do you call it, stock exchange, okay? So you just opened a Texas stock exchange on Friday of last week. And I'm thinking what's happened is everybody's going to flee New York, and you let that dumpster fire just burn itself out. And Dallas and that area is probably going to be the new area of basically New York is the global financial, just like London was. And look what happened. They put Khan in there, who's a Muslim, and yeah, it's going so
Sean,
well.
I think you tuned. Yeah, you tuned in Friday, and I appreciate that.
Oh,
Man,
yeah,
look,
yeah,
we were
yeah,
talking.
yeah.
We were talking about Europe, and you bring up a good example again. There's a lot of folks still in our country that want to mimic Europe, that want to follow Europe. No, you look. Hey, we should look at Europe. And I'm sure there's a lot of great things that go on. And I'm not I love all the things, but that's not as far as government and how they solve problems. It has not proven well over the last 150 years.
Well, they say we have no culture. If culture is being invaded, no, we don't have any culture. You know what our culture is? You F-A, you F-O. And it's probably about time to F-O.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you, brother. Always bringing the heat. Let's see here. My dear friend, Renee. What's up, Renee? 2.0.
Yeah, I want to say that we need to have a remake of Invasion USA, the action movie with Chuck Norris and the black and white version that also had action. We need to have a Hallmark version. My opinion, most of the communist women, Invasion USA, they come to America and vote for a communist country like they're trying to do right now and make it a happy, cheerful, full of feeling, wonderful, everything goes right movie and like it's not gonna be, you know. I mean, we should go like Morocco. Morocco has no communist problems, and if Morocco was Christian, it'd have no Muslim problems. But it's Muslim, it's moderate, it has women in all kind of jobs, and it's not hostile to the West, unlike all the other damn Muslims.
Well, let's not categorize all Muslims. Seriously, it's just, I mean, you know that, and most people know that, and but it's easy to do. I'm just saying, most of us are Christian. I'm very much Christian, and so are you, a lot of you. And if we were in a predominantly Muslim country, I wouldn't want them to categorize me as a Catholic as a child rapist just because a few folks did. You know, it's horrible, but it doesn't make all the folks horrible. But I get it. Radical Islamic terrorism is very much different. That's why I like Bill Maher. We disagree on a lot of things, but we agree on a lot of things. And I bet you that's America. We agree more than we disagree. But I like him because he's on the left, but he'll call it out like it is. And he was, for a while there, was the only comedian, was only left-leaning anything, commentator, because he's kind of a political commentator / comedian. He's probably more of a political commentator these days than not, but he's still very much an entertainer, sharp guy. Again, don't always agree, but I do appreciate him calling out what was a fact, and that is radical Islamic terrorism, and that is much different than just categorizing all Muslims, of course. All right, guys, stick around. We will be right back. More action. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, let's bring it on home. Today, phone lines are wide open. Let me hear from you. We are talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, we're talking about, is this real? So these guys in New York, okay, you don't have to have, you better not show an ID. Matter of fact, if you show an ID to vote, I'm going to throw it away. That's kind of how it feels, you know? I mean, so the administration, Moron. No, that's not nice. Zoran, Mom, Donnie. By the way, you know where he needs to go? He needs to lighten up. He needs to have some fun with his friends in New York. He needs to visit my friend over there, Jonathan, at Indoor Recreation in Lafayette, Louisiana, start, investing in our economy. Because he might want a pool table. He may want some foosball. He might want some darts with his little, his friends, and inside of his bubble, inside New York City. Stressful running a socialist regime. Needs some, blow off some steam. Go to Indoor Recreation. He's not known to visit that place. So you probably can go if you're local, stress-free. All right, so Zoran Mamdani, Mayor Mamdani, his administration says, don't worry about the whole ID thing. We got you. You're good, boo. That's kind of how he said it in the memo. He said, no problem. We're just going to issue free identification cards. It kind of sounds like, wait a minute, the government's issuing a card that shows your identity? They say it's similar. I didn't make this up. They said it's similar to a library card. I guess they didn't want to go as far as say, I don't know, a driver's license? Maybe that? Big Chris, tell me what's going on with this.
Hey, man, talking about these people in control saying, well, it's just a little bit of fraud. It's kind of like saying she's just a little pregnant. The same thing. I mean, one vote, and I've seen it before in some instances, one vote made the difference.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can't have one, not one.
Yeah, you're either alive or you're not. You're either pregnant or you're not, and you're either lawfully voting or you're not. And
Correct.
It's either one. One is one. One is more than zero. Anything other than zero is a problem.
But I like the way they justify it and rationalize it. It's just a few.
Just a few,
I tell you
Big
what,
Chris.
if they lost by 2 votes and a Republican won, they'd be screaming bloody murder. They want to have somebody's neck on a pike.
Hey, Big Chris, what about this? So on Mayor Mamdani, now I know you're close to him. I don't want to.
I'd like to be real close with about a 6-inch blade, but I didn't say that.
So him and his crowd.
The blade would be for him to make it an even fight.
Okay, yeah, tie your hand behind your back. I get it.
One hand.
I get it. We're fair over here. We're fair.
That's right.
So him and his crowd over there in New York City, him and AOC and all the folks that were raising their hands together, I think that plays overplayed on the stage, but we'll talk about that a different day. So they're, obviously, if you and I say that someone should show their ID to show who they are to vote in an election to make sure that only one person votes, we're racist or we're bigots or we're not understanding.
Well,
right?
They're racist too because they need an ID to get into the Democratic Convention, so they must be racist too.
Well, but here's the irony. Mayor Mamdani says you have to have an ID to go and shop at the government-run food store.
So let me get this correct. You don't need a ID to vote, so they can get illegal voters to vote. So then they can vote for Democrats, so they can give free food to the poor people. Then that you do need a ID to go buy it. Okay, so they only get the money from us because they get the votes and they win the whatever race it is, so they can implement the laws to where the working people have to pay for the free food they're getting or the cheap food. So then it puts the legitimate stores out of business. Then they have total control. Then they have control over everybody.
Well, it's a vicious cycle, Big Chris, as you know. And to my callers on hold, oh my goodness, I just can't get to you this quick. I'm so sorry, guys, running out of time. Guys, I had a blast. Man, be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.